The Keeper of Raven's Hollow. The autumn wind howled through the skeletal trees as Sarah Matthews pulled her car into the overgrown driveway of her late grandmother's estate in rural Vermont. She hadn't been here since childhood. Nearly 1,000 days had passed, yet the property looked frozen in time, as if waiting for her return. The old Victorian house loomed before her, its dark windows reflecting the dying light. Sarah's grandmother had been the town's historian, obsessed with local folklore, particularly the legend of Mercy Blackwood, a woman accused of witchcraft in 1692, who had supposedly cursed the land before her execution. Inside, dust motes danced in the fading sunlight. Sarah made her way to her grandmother's study, where journals and ancient texts lined every wall. One leather-bound book caught her eye, marked with a symbol she'd seen carved into the old oak tree outside, a circle with 3 crossing lines. As she opened it, a photograph slipped out. It showed her grandmother standing beside that same oak tree. But something was wrong. Behind her, barely visible in the shadows, stood a figure in colonial dress. A woman with hollow eyes and an impossibly wide smile. Sarah's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "You shouldn't have come back." Her blood ran cold. No one knew she was here. She tried to reply, but her phone died despite being fully charged. A floorboard creaked upstairs. Sarah's rational mind told her it was just an old house settling, but her instincts screamed otherwise. She grabbed the journal and headed for the door, but it wouldn't open. The deadbolt had locked itself. The footsteps upstairs grew louder, descending the staircase with deliberate slowness. Sarah backed into the study, her heart hammering. In the growing darkness, she noticed something she'd missed before. Words scratched into the wooden desk. The debt must be paid. She frantically flipped through the journal. Her grandmother's handwriting grew increasingly erratic in the final entries. "I've discovered the truth about Mercy Blackwood. She wasn't executed. She made a bargain, her freedom for a promise. Every generation, one woman from the bloodline must serve as the keeper. My time is ending. Sarah will be next." The footsteps reached the study door. Sarah looked up to see her, Mercy Blackwood, exactly as she appeared in the photograph. But it was her grandmother's voice that spoke, hollow and distant. "I'm sorry, child. Some family traditions can't be broken." Mercy's form flickered, and for a moment Sarah saw her grandmother's face superimposed over the colonial specter. They were one and the same, had been for decades. "The debt must be paid," Mercy repeated, reaching out with impossibly long fingers. "You will be the keeper now. You will preserve the stories, guard the secrets, and when your time comes, you will pass it on." Sarah felt cold seeping into her bones as Mercy's touch grazed her shoulder. Images flooded her mind, 1,000 years of memories of women who had carried this burden, of dark rituals performed beneath that oak tree, of bargains made with things that should not exist. When morning came, Sarah Matthews emerged from the house. To anyone watching, she would have looked normal, perhaps a bit pale. She got in her car, drove back to her apartment, and quit her job. 3 days later, she returned to the estate permanently. The locals whispered about it, of course. Another Matthews woman drawn back to Raven's Hollow. They saw her sometimes walking the property at night, speaking to the shadows beneath the old oak tree. If you drive past the estate now, you might see her in the window of the study, surrounded by journals and ancient texts, writing by candlelight. Her eyes are different now. Older than they should be, knowing things they shouldn't. And if you look very carefully at her shadow, you'll notice it doesn't quite match her movements. Sometimes it has the silhouette of a woman,